Ew, you got blood all over your shirt. No, she does not just have blood. She has a massive gaping hole in her chest. Assuming that this is this girl's tent, largest tent in the world. I have no idea how she can afford something this big. Brittany, is that you? More footsteps. Danielle, Sarah, found some fire. No. Massive gaping hole in her chest. I think you need to take her to the hospital or pronounce her dead on the scene. Just a scratch. Can you stoke the fire? Yeah, I'll take care of it. You go get yourself cleaned up. Okay. By the way, how did you... Whoa! The next day. God, is it morning already? I didn't even hear Sarah come back. Hey guys, you... It's too late. I think they found some firewood. Okay, that explains how they were able to afford those giant ass tents. She's apparently got Ferrari money or something. Maybe she's a YouTuber. Driving. That did not scare me as much as the other one did, but wow, that's a remarkably scuffed image. Ooh, I'm Sarah! And she drives off the bridge into the water. Damn, I'd love to be the person who's scavenging the river and comes across that. You can sell that for hella parts. Too late. Okay, that was not as good as I remembered. It was basically just a classic mean girl bully story, kind of like Roblox bullies, except with scary elements. I can only hope that the final story is less bad. This is The Horseman. Scare level high, length long. Judging by the fact that it has horseman in the title, I'm guessing it's going to... spends 30k Robux from his mom's credit card on Headless Horseman, and then his family is forced to go on the streets and dies of starvation. That's just my prediction. Let's see if I'm right. Hey man, are you ready to go? Yep. Wait, before we go, what is that costume? It makes mine look like garbage. Like it? It's the Headless Horseman, see? Oh cool, thanks. Now let's go. Later on. Well, here we are, the 10th annual Graveyard Party. Yeah. And you're sure we won't get in trouble? Bro, relax. Every parent in town thinks we're all out trick-or-treating right now. Okay, then let's head on in. Party's great so far, isn't it? Yeah, I'm having an awesome time. Hey, Zach, we brought some fireworks. You want to help us shoot them off? Yeah, sure. Jake, you want to come? No thanks, that sounds kind of dangerous. Plus, I'd rather not go with 2 furries and a guy with no pants. That seems kind of like a situation waiting to happen. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll be here later on. Hey, Jake, you look a little lonely. Why is everyone here a furry? Well, my best friend kind of abandoned me, so why don't you talk to that girl you like? Becky? Nah, she said she wasn't coming. Well, she must have been lying, because I saw her a little while ago. That means you should definitely ignore her hints that she doesn't want to be associated with you and go flirt with her. Really? Where? Near that big oak tree. Thank you for the very specific instructions. I'll be sure to go find the large oak tree out of all of the equally big oak trees. Hey, Becky, can I talk to you? It be your own. It really be your own. Later on. Zach, there's a guy in the road. Slow down. No, there isn't. Yeah, I'm gonna side with Zach here. There is no guy on the road. Okay, now there is. You're drunk. Just pull over and let me drive. No, I'm not. Let me drive. Dude, you just hit someone. No, I'm pretty sure they're just kind of resting on the hood of your car. Like, it looks like they're kind of taking a nap. We have to go back. Are you crazy? We'll get in huge trouble. We'll just have to come back tomorrow. God damn. His own friend. Kissing his girlfriend, hitting him on the side of the road, all in one night. Jeez, okay. I think his best friend's about to die, and when that happens, yeah, he's gonna deserve it. I know what you want. Yes. And I can help you. We're just going to have to get to know each other a little better. Not the end. Okay, yeah, I remember there was gonna be a part 2 to this, and I think it had something to do with, like, it was basically gonna be Jake killing his best friend, which I think would have definitely been deserved and a good ending, but, like, I kind of gave up on this, so didn't happen, unfortunately. But, you know, can't have everything. But yeah, that was not scary. I did not get frightened by this one. Honestly, I think the most frightening one of the night was Pencil, which is surprising because it's marked as an easy scare. So, like, it's weird. But yeah, overall, 3 out of 10. Yeah, that was kind of rough, huh? I can't say it was that surprising to me that my stories weren't all I thought they were, but man, that was disappointing. Now, I'm not usually one to get scared by horror stories, and these stories were not an exception. I am pretty susceptible to jump scares, so that pop-up image effect I threw in a couple of them did make me jump a bit, but the actual stories themselves didn't do a lot for me. However, I will say that a good horror story for me is equal parts scary and sad. You get the scares from the monster's scary actions, but you also get the emotions of the monster's backstory and come to really understand why it does what it does. I could definitely sense the attempts at emotion in each of these stories, from the dead dad in Pencil to the insecurity that David's friends might not actually care about him and he didn't listen, to the dead girlfriend trauma in Ginny, the abandoned horseman, to addictions. Yeah, I don't really know what I was doing with that one. I probably should have left it out. For the most part, though, not to toot my own horn, but I could definitely tell that I put effort in to allow these stories to transcend the medium of a cringy Roblox horror story game and be legitimately entertaining. It's just where it gets interesting when you consider how it stacks up to other games of the same genre. My game may be pretty bad, but it is by far not the worst of its kind out there. Let me introduce you to the old version of Bam Rules' A Scary Story 1, one of, if not the most popular classic horror story games out there. It's been updated and reworked many times since its creation in 2011, but Bam Rules included an archive of its very and oh boy. Each of these stories is roughly 4 to 5 scenes long. The English is god-awful. The scene decor is nothing but a gray void. The only music is a weird random ticking noise. And the stories are all basically the same. Person is going about their day, creepy thing shows up, creepy thing kills the person. Person is going about their day, creepy thing shows up, creepy thing kills the person. Person is going about their day, creepy thing shows up. So I don't know if you've noticed this recently, but Roblox is kinda big. Its player base and value as a corporation is gigantic and steadily growing, to the point where it literally breaks almost every weekend now as a result of hundreds of thousands of players all flocking in to play the update of some massively popular game hosted on the platform. And with such a big outreach on the internet comes a lot more potential for silly or noteworthy things to happen on Roblox and get co-opted by the fanbase into inside jokes and memes. Now, Roblox isn't just big, it's also old, having been publicly released all the way back in 2006, which I'm sure is before many of you were born. I was actually only 2 years old at the time, and you'd better believe that if I could tell my toddler self one thing, it'd be to hop on the computer and make as many different entries to the Domino Rally building contest on as many different alts as possible. But we're getting off topic. Because of how old Roblox is, there have been many different inside jokes and memes about certain aspects of it that have sprung up over its nearly 20-year history, becoming so well known among the player base that they've sort of become integrated with the player base, shaping how it's developed even to this day. Maybe you've wondered before why the classic noob avatar is so widely known and recognizable as a new player, or why the community is so captivated with this hat, or why so many people around the early 2010s seem to want to blame a guy named John for everything. And in that case, this video is for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at the most well-known and influential memes in the history of Roblox, including their origins, their history, the various spin-offs that many of them generated, and where they're at today. Without further ado, let's get meming. Yes, that's right, we're kicking things off with the oof sound, probably the most widely known Roblox-related meme of all time. The reason it's first on the list, however, isn't just because it's the most well-known, but because it's actually the only meme on this list to have existed well before Roblox was even created. The YouTuber HBomber guy actually made an incredibly well-researched and in-depth video essay about this sound that you should go watch if you really want the full story. Links in the description. But in the interest of time, the long and short of it is that the only reason it's in Roblox is because Roblox accidentally stole it. It was originally created for a game from the year 2000 called Messiah, where you play as an angel who can fly around, possess people, and sometimes accidentally hit walls, at which point you make the iconic sound. Later on, in 2004, by which point Messiah had already been largely forgotten about by most people, someone ripped the sound from the game and put it on a stock CD of supposedly copyright-free sound effects, which the founders of Roblox then bought for use in the platform. It ended up being used as the default death sound effect, which meant that anyone who played Roblox would hear it whenever they died, and as we already mentioned, Roblox's player count would go on to swell to outrageous numbers, so millions and millions of people would inevitably hear it. That, combined with the fact that it was admittedly pretty goofy sounding, would allow it to easily take a spot in the internet's upper echelon of meme sound effects, effects and become iconic all across Roblox as well. That was, of course, until 2020, when the CEO of the company that originally made the sound finally found out about its use, got mad that Roblox wouldn't give him all the money he wanted for it, and had them take it down. It is truly sad that the oof sound was removed, because it really was iconic. Even nowadays, many people can't really hear the word oof without thinking of Roblox. It's just become that intertwined with the platform and the internet as a whole. But in all honesty, we should just be glad that the oof was the only casualty of this copyright debate and none of Roblox's other stolen sound effects were taken down. Because they have a lot. You might already know this from Toasted Cherries' video on the subject, but the sound design for the original Roblox was essentially an absolute cobbled together patchwork mess, with nearly all of the original sound effects having been taken from other places online and sometimes slightly altered. The Bloxy Cola sip sound was taken from a random free sound user, the guy saying pizza sound effect is from Sound Bible, the ghost booing sound effect was a sound used by Disney in the early 20th century. I could go on. But the important part is that a lot of these sounds are, just like the oof sound, extremely popular memes now because of Roblox, even being used outside the context of Roblox in certain cases. I'm sure that at the time they used these sounds, the founders of Roblox could never have imagined that the platform would be at the level it's at today, and now that it is there, I'm fairly certain that if the owners of these sounds knew exactly how much mileage their sound had been getting out of Roblox, they would maybe want a bit more than $2.49 out of them. Good thing they'll never see this video. I hope. If the oof sound is the first most iconic meme, then the noob avatar definitely takes a firm second place. The noob has sort of become the mascot of Roblox at this point, generating tons and tons of artwork, hats, games, and even serving as the literal base default avatar Roblox saddles you with sometimes when it can't figure out how to load your normal avatar in-game. However, I feel like for those unfamiliar with the character, its name might generate a bit of confusion. Noob, otherwise known as newbie, is internet slang for someone who's new at something. An inexperienced player, someone viewed as stupid and unworthy of respect. But the Roblox noob is kind of treated like a god now. We've got Buff Noob, a hulking behemoth of a man that could steal your girl just by showing off his back. We've got Mecha Noob, a bundle that most people only know as a very obviously fake way to knock off the headless head, but at its actual size would be absolutely terrifying. We've even got games like the Day the Noobs Took Over Roblox series, in which a gigantic horde of noobs literally takes over the entirety of Roblox and establishes a new world order. That's not even something that most regular players can do, and you're telling me these are noobs? How did this yellow-skinned, blocky character even end up being the symbol of new users anyway? Isn't the default character you get when you create a new account the bacon hair? Well, it turns out the reason that this makes sense hails all the way back from 2006, when avatars looked a lot different than they do now. Roblox is called Roblox for a reason. Canonically, the old avatars were meant to look like plastic toys made out of blocks, and were never supposed to resemble actual humans very much at all. They were mostly just trying to rip off Lego, honestly. Nevertheless, this was the design that the Roblox team came up with, and it became the basis for all future Roblox avatars. If you chose to stick with this basic avatar and not add any hats or clothing when those were later introduced, you would be seen as too inexperienced to afford them and therefore a noob. And I guess this particular torso variant just so happened to be the one lucky enough to stick in people's minds as the image of a noob forevermore. By this point, the noob avatar as we know it today is oddly enough more popular than it was when it actually signified noobishness. It's sort of been reclaimed as this beacon of goofiness and memery, and its simple default nature means it's easy to include it in things like art and games. And yet, people still can't seem to get the goddamn colors right. Please just take a screenshot of this guide here that Reddit user SpawnPoint made. It details exactly how to make a noob avatar. If I see one more noob that looks like this, I'm gonna have to punch someone in the ribs. And I don't want to do that. I'll hurt my hand. Hats were first introduced on Roblox at the very end of May of